Some women can't cope on their own.
She always seemed to need a man in her life.
They need a man to adore them.
Sandi got what she wanted.
Or watch out.
They were completely unprepared for what they found inside the house.
Sandi är frånskild och hon har 3 barn från det här äktenskapet. Hon träffar en ny man och blir nyförälskad, och den här gången hoppas hon att det kommer gå bättre. Hon gifter sig med en 14 år äldre man, David Folden. Men hur träffades egentligen Sandi och David?
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to witness the joining of Frank and Sandi.
They meet in the most unusual circumstances.
Sandi married a man who, 2 years earlier, had been married to Sandi's mother.
Now pronounce you man and wife.
All in the family.
She seemed to be a woman who was always looking for a man in order to be able to support her and her children.
Jag har ingenting emot att folk gifter sig. Det är stort och ett sätt att bara visa sin kärlek för varandra. Men det som får mig att reagera är att Sandi gifter sig med sin mammas exmake. Det kan inte bli annat än en konstig stämning mellan parterna när de träffas.
Her mother disowns her, but Sandi doesn't mind. She and David have a growing family of their own.
She had 2 more daughters with him.
David proves his devotion
She's sound asleep.
when Grandpa becomes daddy.
How would you feel if I adopted the other kids?
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I love them like they're my own.
When he married Sandi, he adopted her 3 children from her first marriage.
To the outside world, Sandi appears to be a perfect mother.
The children were very well behaved. They were well mannered. They were always immaculately turned out.
David's roll. He's on your team.
Utåt sett var det här den perfekta familjen. Men inåt sett, det var någonting helt annat. När det inte gick som Sandi ville så fick hon utbrott.
Come on, it was just an accident.
Familjen, de levde ett dubbelliv.
Tell me who did it, or you'll all be blamed.
That's enough, Sandi. Sandi, that's enough.
Dare you? You do not interfere with me.
Sandi was, to say the least, strict with the kids. In fact, unreasonably strict.
You're the one that's always walking over me. These are my children.
They're my children too.
They were very controlled, very, very obedient, almost like little soldiers.
No, they are not.
You are acting crazy and controlling.
She was very controlling, and Sandi got what she wanted.
I can talk to them however
This is
I want
not
their
what
lives.
David wants. After 8 years of marriage,
Crazy and controlling.
he tires of Sandi's tough love.
You try to control everything.
Crazy? I'll get you crazy.
Äktenskapet höll inte, de tog ut en skilsmässa. Jag tycker att när det är barn inblandade, då ska man i första hand tänka på barnen. Man ska försöka härda ut för barnens skull. Jag kan tycka att man inte ska ta ut skilsmässa förrän barnen är vuxna och självständiga. Men jag kan också tycka att ibland så är det bättre med skilsmässa. När det förekommer bråk och våld, som det gör i många familjer tyvärr, då är skilsmässa det bästa alternativet.
Now a single mom of 5, Sandi is not alone for long.
Sandi was the kind of woman who seemed to always need a man in her life.
Sandi eventually started dating a younger man who was in his 20s.
To Sandi, he's husband material.
You know my kids love you.
But young Scott isn't ready to be tied down.
Yeah, they're cute.
probably highly unlikely to want to step in to a situation and be the stepfather of 5 young children.
Scott decides he won't be under her control.
She wanted to get married, and he didn't.
But I'm not ready to be a dad.
And eventually they did break up.
Det här kan också förorsaka problem. Jag säger inte att man inte ska dejta efter skilsmässa, men har du barn så är det barnen som är prio och inte dina förhållanden. Tänk så här, mår dina barn bra av att du kastar dig in i ett förhållande direkt efter skilsmässan? Eller ska du vänta tills att barnen har hunnit smälta in att deras föräldrar är skilda?
Sandi tries to get back on track without a man in her life.
She attended police academy. She was hoping to become a police officer.
But Scott leaves her a parting gift.
What was really devastating to Sandi was that he not only dumped her, but he left her pregnant. And she realized that she could not care for a 6th child on her own.
Can you please call me?
Nu är Sandi återigen gravid och hade jag varit henne, då skulle jag göra abort för att hennes kille sa att han inte är redo. För det är så här att är du inte redo, då blir du ingen bra förälder.
We need to talk.
Eventually, she had an abortion, something that was very much against her nature.
Jag tycker att det var rätt val. Det hade ännu inte funkat. Även om det var emot hennes vilja så var det det bästa som hon kunde göra för att det här barnet, det hade inte fått en bra uppväxt. Men hon kände stor skuld över aborten och hon fick ångest och hon grät ofta om nätterna.
When a woman has an abortion, there is, within a few days, a rather abrupt hormonal shift that can cause a significant mood swing. If a woman goes in to have an abortion and she's already upset, there's a good chance when she has that mood swing, it's not going to be good. She's going to be depressed and anxious.
Sandi's losing control of her life. And things get worse when her ex-husband, David, wants out of the adoption.
Sandi fick ett brev på posten från hennes exman att han ville adoptera hennes äldsta barn. Och det skulle innebära att hon inte var berättigad till underhållsstöd. Sandi hade nu ingen kontroll. Hon blev en tickande bomb.
June 30th, 1998. Saugus, California.
Okay, settle down.
Just days after 34-year-old Sandi Nieves has an abortion.
One over there.
She decides to give her 5 children a special treat.
They were going to have a slumber party.
They were having a party to watch television, watch movies, and have popcorn.
It was the first time the children ever had a slumber party together in the house.
But that party will change the family forever.
Det som börjar som en helt underbar kväll, det slutar i en katastrof. Det blev en brottsplats.
The next morning, the house becomes a potential crime scene. Sandi and her 14-year-old son are outside, dazed and confused.
She had no memory.
Nothing at all?
That she just couldn't remember anything that had happened.
Är det så att hon inte minns? Eller var det bara ett sätt att vilseleda polisen? Det kan vara både och. Är du med om ett brott så kan du bli traumatiserad och få en minneslucka. Eller så kan det vara en ursäkt för att du är inblandad på ett eller annat sätt.
Inside the house, police officers are horrified by what they find.
They found 4 girls still in their pajamas, still in their sleeping bags, and they were all dead.
These little girls looked so innocent, but yet, you know, they were lifeless.
It was determined that they died from carbon monoxide poisoning.
When Sandi is told her 4 young daughters are dead, her reaction is unusual.
But there was no emotion in her face. She was just very blank and matter-of-fact about it.
Detective Dolores Scott is one of the first to search the home. She smells gasoline.
Får man veta att ens barn är döda så är det märkligt att hon inte visar känslor. Men vad fan, hon var helt känslokall. Och därför så väcktes det misstankar mot den där mamman. Hon blev huvudmisstänkt. Och de här barnen, de dog av gasförgiftning.
4 different pours of gasoline in the hallway. The oven was open, and there was a singed kitchen towel.
There are signs of a fire, but it's not intense enough to burn more than the carpet.
Jag undrar hur hon tänkte. Det skulle kunna vara så att hon ville få det att se ut som en olycka. Men vad hon än hade för baktanke så skulle de tekniska bevisen avslöja henne.
And they find letters.
She was very angry at her second husband. And she also felt heartbroken over her breakup with her ex-boyfriend and the abortion. And she wrote letters letting those men know exactly how she felt.
They were basically like goodbye letters. We took them as suicide letters. Everything that we found in the initial stage of the investigation led to her.
Okej, det här var motivet. Hon var förbannad för att hennes exman ville adoptera hennes barn. Men hon var också förbannad för att hennes ex-pojkvän, inte var redo att bli pappa. Och det här väckte en ilska hos henne. En ilska som gick ut över hennes oskyldiga barn.
It becomes painfully clear what happened that night.
After the movie was over, the children settled down to sleep.
She had poured gasoline on certain spots in the house.
1.5 gallons of gas were used.
She has another message for the former men in her life.
She was angry. She was a woman scorned. She was going to take the things that they cared for the most, which was the children.
I'm going to have the last word and take everything from you.
Sandi doesn't need a flame to kill her children. The smoke will do it.
She taped the doors and windows, probably thinking that that would keep the smoke in the room, not knowing that the fire needed oxygen.
As the girls start to suffocate, one begs her mom for help.
Mom, I need to go to the toilet. I feel sick.
As she needed to go throw up.
Well, throw up on the floor.
Sandi said no. Stay where you are and just throw up on the floor.
Put your head under the blanket.
She told the children to keep breathing into their blankets.
These children were so controlled by her and so obedient, they just took that as, okay, mommy knows best.
By morning, the 4 young girls are dead. Sandi and her only son escape.
Sandi may have intended on dying with her children. What was supposed to be a murder-suicide turned into simply a multiple murder.
Det här är ju hemskt. Alltså, jag fattar inte hur man kan vara så okänslig. Alltså varför ska dina barn lida bara för att du är arg på dina ex? Jag fattar inte hur man kan döda sina barn eller på något sätt skada dem. Och det här motivet, det gör det bara ännu mer tragiskt. Sandi borde haft en lång konversation med sina ex, men hon hade också behövt regelbunden samtalsterapi. Men istället så lät hon sin ilska gå ut över sina 4 oskyldiga barn. Det är fruktansvärt.
In April 2000, Sandi goes on trial. She commits one last terrible act.
She pointed the finger at David. If it wasn't bad enough that we knew this woman had deliberately tried to murder her kids by fire, now she was going to try and save herself by pinning it on her one surviving son.
She'd lost 4 children. What's one more?
The jury doesn't buy her story. Sandi Nieves is convicted of murdering her 4 daughters and attempting to murder her son.
Sandi hoppades på att omvärlden skulle se henne som den perfekta mamman. Men hennes barn blev föremål i hennes dödliga plan. Sandi dödade 4 oskyldiga barn och försökte döda det 5:e. Och Sandi, hon blev straffad. Hon dömdes till döden. Jag är emot dödsstraff för att det blir som en hämnd. Och jag tror inte på hämnd. Det vore bättre om hon hade fått livstidsfängelse. För då hade hon fått tillbringa resten av sitt liv bakom galler. Hon hade fått ångest och fått leva med vetskapen om att hon hade dödat sina barn. Det var allt för den här gången. Ni får ha det så jävla gött, så hörs vi i nästa video.